One sunny afternoon, while the family was busy in the living room, Shusha, fueled by a sense of adventure, decided she wanted to play with fire. She had seen the adults lighting the grill earlier and thought she could mimic them. With mischief twinkling in her eyes, she snuck outside to the woodshed, her tiny hands clutching a box of matches she had found in a drawer. Just a little fire, she thought, a grin spreading across her face. It'll be so fun. She gathered sticks and logs, her excitement bubbling over as she struck the match against the side of the box. At first, the flame flickered gently, warming her small hands. But as she dropped the match into the pile of dry wood, a sudden gust of wind blew, causing the logs to shift precariously and trapping her beneath them. Panic surged through her as the fire quickly spread, engulfing the kindling and roaring into a fierce blaze. Ralph, alert to the scent of smoke and the frantic crackling of fire, bolted from the doghouse, barking furiously. He sprinted toward the source of the chaos but was thwarted by the tall fence. Desperate to reach Kashusha, he circled the yard, his barks rising in urgency. It was then that Yasha, perched on a nearby branch, noticed his distress. Instinctively, Yasha understood what was at stake. With a determined caw, she flew toward the house, flapping her wings vigorously. As she landed on the windowsill, she began pecking furiously at the glass, trying to get the woman's attention. When that failed, she hopped down and pecked at the woman's leg, her sharp beak jabbing insistently. "What is it, Yasha?" the mother asked, momentarily irritated as she wiped her hands on her apron. But the urgency in Yasha's demeanor made her pause. Following the bird's erratic movements, she stepped outside and was immediately met with the sight of Ralph, a whirlwind of fur and worry, racing toward the woodshed. "Kshusha!" the mother shouted, her heart pounding in her chest. She dashed toward the sound of crackling flames, dread crawling up her spine as she called out for her daughter, but the roaring fire drowned out her voice. Finally, she reached the scene, horror gripping her as she caught sight of Shusha, trapped beneath the logs, her tiny frame silhouetted against the flickering flames. Without a second thought, she lunged into the inferno, her maternal instincts kicking in. The heat seared her skin, but adrenaline propelled her forward, and she grasped Shusha's arms, pulling her to safety just as the fire leapt higher. Ralph barked and whined, and Yasha circled overhead, a guardian angel determined to keep watch. As the mother wrapped her arms around Shusha, a wave of relief washed over her, but it was short-lived. The flames continued to grow, and she knew that they needed help. "Someone call the fire department!" she shouted to no one in particular as she held Shusha close, whispering reassurances. The little girl trembled, tears streaming down her cheeks, her eyes wide with fear. In the chaos, neighbors began to emerge, drawn by the commotion and the smell of smoke. They jumped into action, grabbing hoses and buckets, working together to douse the flames that threatened to engulf the woodshed. As the fire subsided, the mother cradled Kshusha, who had fallen into a daze, her small body limp in her arms. Ralph stood protectively nearby, while Yasha landed beside him, watching over the scene as if she were a sentinel. Word of the fire incident spread quickly through the neighborhood like wildfire. Neighbors gathered in small clusters, each one recounting the tale with varying degrees of embellishment. There were gasps of disbelief, chuckles of amusement, and plenty of eyes wide with awe. "I heard that bird was a hero," Mr. Petrov, the elderly man from next door, declared, his voice booming over the chatter. "Pecked at the woman until she noticed the fire. Did you see the size of that dog?" Mrs. Ivanova chimed in, shaking her head. "He must have been barking like mad. He knew something was wrong." As the family gathered on their porch, still shaken but grateful, neighbors brought over casseroles and baked goods, eager to show their support. Laughter bubbled amid the worry as they exchanged stories of the day's drama, the fire becoming a tale of bravery rather than tragedy. "Yasha and Ralph deserve a medal," Mrs. Levitin said, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "Or at least a feast. We should throw them a party." The children, hearing this, bounced to their feet, wide-eyed with excitement. "Can we, Mom? Can we throw a party for Yasha and Ralph?" Kshusha implored, her voice laced with hope. The mother smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude for her children and their newfound friends. "Absolutely, sweetie. They deserve it more than anyone." With that, the family began planning a small gathering, inviting neighbors and friends to join in celebrating the extraordinary bond between a dog and a raven. As the days passed, the tale of bravery and friendship spread, with each retelling bringing more laughter and joy. Weeks turned into months, and the fiery incident became a storied memory that only cemented the bond between Yasha, Ralph, and the family. Yasha's recovery transformed her spirit. She became more adventurous, often stretching her wings and attempting short flights around the yard. One crisp autumn afternoon, as golden leaves fluttered to the ground, the family gathered outside for a picnic. Kshusha, her cheeks rosy from the cool air, watched as Yasha leaped over the fence, flapping her wings for the first time since her injury. If you're enjoying our content so far, feel free to support us by hitting like, subscribing, and turning on the notification bell to never miss our stories. Now back to Yasha. "Look, she's flying!" Kshusha squealed, clapping her hands in delight. Ralph barked excitedly, jumping up as if to join her, his tail wagging furiously. Yasha soared into the air, gliding gracefully before landing nearby, a triumphant caw escaping her beak. The children cheered, their laughter ringing through the air, while the mother snapped pictures, capturing the moment forever. With each passing day, Yasha's confidence grew. She began to explore the yard, daring to venture farther from Ralph's side. Their bond deepened as they played together. Ralph would fetch a stick, and Yasha would swoop down, snatching it midair with a flick of her wings, earning her a chorus of giggles from the children. As autumn turned to winter, the family decorated their home for the holidays, stringing lights that twinkled like stars. They included a small wreath for Yasha, hanging it at the entrance of Ralph's doghouse. The raven, seeing it adorned with shiny ornaments, fluffed her feathers in delight, adding a touch of mischief to the festivities. One night, as the family gathered around the fireplace, Anton shared stories of Yasha's bravery, recounting how she had saved Kshusha during the fire. "You know, it's not just about being a pet or a bird," he said, looking at Yasha, who was nestled comfortably beside Ralph. "It's about being family." As winter deepened, the family sat together one evening, reflecting on the incredible journey they had shared with Yasha. The air was filled with warmth, both from the fire and the love that enveloped them. "I never thought a raven could be so sweet," the mother mused, watching Yasha preen her feathers. "She's become a part of our family." Kshusha nodded, her eyes shining. "And Ralph, he's the best dog ever. He takes care of Yasha," Anton chimed in. "They taught us something important. Animals aren't just pets. They're friends who look out for each other." The mother smiled, her heart swelling with pride. In that moment, they recognized the strength of their bond with nature and the lessons learned from their feathered and furry companions. They had witnessed courage, friendship, and a shared spirit that transcended species. As Yasha nestled against Ralph, the family knew they had forged something special, an unbreakable connection that taught them the value of compassion and understanding. They had come to appreciate the beauty of the wild and the warmth of a home filled with love. In the months that followed, the family continued to embrace their unusual yet heartwarming dynamics. With each passing day, the laughter of children and the gentle coos of a raven filled their home, reminding them that sometimes the most extraordinary friendships could be found in the most unexpected places. As the last leaves fell and the first snowflakes danced through the air, Yasha remained a cherished member of the family, a testament to the power of love that knows no bounds.